And I'm not even asking if the not things are the same thing that was on Planet Midnight, because the less I know about both of these villains, the less potential for screwing them up to the point that they suck now.
So, I was wrong about that. It isn't often something like this happens, so I think we need to stop for just a second and appreciate what's happened here. Normally, you get a hit with a Doctor Who villain, and what do? You run that villain into the motherfucking ground. If you're really smart, you own that villain and lease their ass over to the BBC. But when Midnight came around, RTD had written the villain in such a way that it didn't really seem feasible for it to come back. It didn't die, it just got its ass thrown out of the train car. It lived on Planet Midnight, so it was just sort of like they got the lion out of the safari tour bus. The lion is probably fine, just irritated it didn't get to eat all the white people. And that episode, while not my top number one favorite episode of all time, it certainly is in the S tier and in my top 5. Hey, maybe that's a completely unique idea for a video that will probably actually get views for me. Midnight was one of those episodes where everything limiting it made it better. We don't have Catherine Tate and need to make a companion light episode? Cool, let's put the Doctor with a bunch of people that don't trust him. We don't have a budget? Cool, we'll put them in a claustrophobic space and make that episode feel like a play. We blew the budget and can't spend anything on a villain? Sweet. We'll make it invisible and hire an incredible actress to creep the shit out of people. That episode had a kind of frantic energy because of the setting and the simple creepiness of when that annoying kid starts copying everything you say turned up to 11. You can't bring that villain back because if you do, you run the risk of taking the air out of one of the all-time greatest episodes of Doctor Who if you don't give it strong effort. And I know we had help, but damn it if RTD didn't shock me again. Let's get into the well. We begin right where we left off from Lux, with the Doctor trying to triangulate the signal for May 24th. The execs over at Big Finish throw their in-between story ideas in the trash and cry. Belinda gets upset, worried that the Earth may be gone, but honestly, she was just abducted by giant red robots, created a paradox by touching 2 pieces of paper together, and watched a vampire cartoon dissolve into nothing, all without sleeping, so it's a bit understandable that she's a bit frazzled. She waxes poetic about her dad singing, and the Doctor promises that he will take her home. They land somewhere 500,000 years in the future, and the Doctor wants to take the key to time outside for another reading. Belinda wonders if humans are still around this far into the future, but the Doctor assures her that humanity persists like an annoying toddler asking why after everything you say. He also mentions that humanity goes out everywhere and owns it, making me wonder why we're considered better than the Daleks by the Doctor because all we do is colonize too. Anyway, the Doctor explains the TARDIS translator that works on language but apparently not dress because we have to do the clothes changing thing again. This time with Britney Spears' Toxic and somewhere Cassandra moisturizes. The rest of this episode definitely won't give you a tone shift whiplash after this sequence. They pick the exact same outfits as the ship they just landed on, step out of the TARDIS and are immediately in line for some kind of military group that is just about to parachute out of the ship from above the planet. I guess because just going with the flow is a thing the Doctor does sometimes, he and Belinda grab helmets when commanded to do so and get pushed out of the ship. Their suits act as parachutes in a way that works if you don't think about it too hard. They land on the planet, ready to rock, and the Doctor shows off Belinda's technically second new planet after Earth. And the military group they jumped out of the ship with turned their weapons on the Doctor and Belinda. It's okay. He has his psychic paper and pulls rank, so Commander Shya tells them that they are on planet 6767, which has galvanized radiation, hence the suits. The doctor asks why the group is there, and they take him outside a mining colony where they've lost contact with 35 people inside. And we get our first indication of what came up on the spinny wheel of Doctor Who episode types.
Base under siege.
They hope there are some people still alive in there.
Hope is irrelevant.
The cut is irrelevant.
They go inside, take off their helmets, and the Doctor and Belinda take off their armor for reasons that involve fashion. And we meet the dickhead of the episode, Casio, who rightfully tells them they shouldn't take off the blast armor when going into a dangerous situation with a bunch of people that have guns, and also gets mad when the Doctor calls him babes. They come across a body that's been dead for a while and has a broken neck, start checking all the living quarters, finding everyone dead and all the mirrors broken. The bodies are divided up into death type, kind of like shirts and skins, but instead it's broken necks and laser fire. Casio thinks they should have just nuked the planet. They open the door to a big open room and find Alice, who is deaf, freaked out and wants to get the hell out of there. She's worried about her little girl at home and cops to killing her friend who lays dead next to her because she had to. The Doctor signs with her, so she trusts him immediately. Alice explains everyone went crazy and killed each other and ended up being the last one because her buddy Chow stepped to her, and you don't step to Alice. Belinda notices Alice has a wound on her arm, so Belinda tends to her. The Doctor questions her more, but she doesn't know shit. Shya and the crew want to get to central control, and the Doctor wants in on that, so he leaves Alice with Belinda. You know, because the human who hasn't slept since her long nursing shift and 2 adventures through space and time should be fine. Alice starts looking around, all half spaz-like, and the Doctor gets to central control with Shya and the gang. In here, they find the well, where they were mining mercury. Shya can't get shit to work, so she decides to show off and show how she used to bullseye womp rats with her T-16 back home, and the Doctor finds out that these Lombardians have never heard of Earth, probably because of whatever happens in the finale. Coincidentally, Belinda finds out Mo has never heard of Earthlings either when Belinda notices a jump scare, complete with ear-piercing music to wake your ass up and make you feel alive again, buddy. It happens again. Belinda says she thought she saw something go behind Alice. Alice turns around to show everyone that she just got ass, no creepy crawlies back there. But then the bald guy notices it, and so does Mo, so Alice fesses up that this happened to Chow, and this is why she had to kill him. Bald guy tells Hanno to execute the move, and she circles around Alice. Meanwhile, Team Doctor gets fragments of the video clips from the mining colony, and I guess everyone just stood around screaming at the end, not knowing what was driving them crazy. The Doctor pieces together this mining colony is on the remnants of planet Midnight. He freaks out, starts running, while Hanno gets all the way behind Alice and gets suplexed. Everyone gets back to the room. Alice finally tells the truth that something is behind her that she can't see, but kills anyone that goes back there. Belinda uses visual aids to say the same damn thing that I just said. Anyone that goes behind Alice will die. Dumbass says, we'll just kill Alice and be done with all this shit. And she tells him that it would just go behind him or anyone else that kills her. Which, you know, even I'm slow, but I would have concluded that. The Doctor tells everyone about the time that he met the Midnight creatures, but Casio has never heard of time travel, even though so many species have it. He declares a red code, and I guess in this military, you only need one other person to agree with you and you can become leader. Casio takes over, swaggers around, showing everyone how big his balls are, and recruits the bald guy to circle Alice to test what Belinda showed them in her puppet show. And even though bald guy just saw Hanno get RKO'd, he still does it with Casio's encouragement, you know, because him being the whole dick thing, and Baldy gets launched. Alice starts turning around, accidentally and comically killing all of the soldiers. Bodies are flying all over the room every time she turns until all of the unnamed extras are dead. Shya figures this out and uses Alice's back Hulk to smash Casio and take back control. Way to seriously straight kill a dude, Shya. She's all like, y'all know I had to cause Casio was being such a dick, and everyone's cool with it. Enjoy your legacy, Casio. However, in passing, I shall defend you. Had they just nuked the colony, which they end up doing at the end of this episode anyway, it wouldn't have gotten out like it does. So pour one out for Casio. You don't have to be nice to be right. Everyone just wants to leave Alice because she's got back knee, but the doctor tries to talk to the Midnight entity. The doctor can hear it whispering behind Alice, and this is why she didn't go crazy too, because she can't. The doctor listens to the Midnight entity in a very tense scene that justifies the weekly tear. The doctor, for once, praise the Lord in heaven above, uses his brain. He tells Shya to shoot the pipe behind them twice, so that the mercury that's in the pipe and start to reflect the entity to itself, and since they broke all the mirrors, doesn't seem to like its own reflection. They are just about to see it on the mercury, but it lets Alice go. They all run, but the doctor stops because he wants to see it? We see a weird shadow, but the doctor and Belinda run. Alice gets out on the first door pass. This leaves the doctor, Shya, Belinda, and Mo left to wait getting out the door. The entity gets into where they are, and Doctor Who has this very nice, subtle nod to the movie The Thing, as we find out that Belinda has the entity behind her now, and she can hear it whispering. The doctor offers himself to the entity to keep Belinda safe, but Shya decides to use her cracked shooting skills to shoot through Belinda's heart and take the entity on, leaving a very slim possibility of Belinda being saved if she shoots it just right. She does this, and strangely, the doctor lets her. The doctor and Mo save Belinda. Shya runs to the well while thinking about a diary entry or something, and then falls into the well, sacrificing herself. Belinda's alive, the doctor has her on the TARDIS, explain what happened, and they worry about Earth again because nobody knew about it. Mo reports back to home base, on Casio again, who I will remind everyone had the idea that would have just killed one cook instead of a full gaggle of soldiers and in all likelihood Lombardo, and we find out that she's reporting to Mrs. Flood. Flood asks about the doohickey, seems pleased that the doctor is using one, and the TARDIS leaves. Mo talks to her soldier buddy, who thinks she sees something behind Mo's back. The end. Wow, what an intense episode. Let's talk about the things that I liked. Third week in a row, it's official. I like Belinda. Maybe it's because of the conflict she has with the doctor, or maybe it's because we see their friendship really start to blossom that makes me like her more than Ruby. Now, I hate disparaging Ruby. Millie Gibson is great, but I don't even think about her. I like how Belinda just goes straight into nursing mode every time she sees someone that's hurt or sick. For those of us that were Martha fans, we know how much we wanted to see her doing things like this and how much her character got screwed by having goo-goo eyes for the doctor. I cared when Belinda had the Midnight entity behind her. I admit it, I haven't watched Andor yet because of all the Doctor Who video reviews taking my time and because Star Wars is barely watchable now for me, but I plan on doing it soon because I hear it's amazing and she's in it. She's a great companion, and I hope this isn't the only season that she's in. This felt like a Doctor Who episode. Even before the midnight reveal, the episode was giving me Impossible Planet vibes. The base under siege model is so overdone in Doctor Who, it gets annoying when they don't do it enough. And when they do it right, oh boy can the formula work. Aside from the out-of-place Dr. Hero theme when Ncuti gets the Mercury plan,
the way out. Oh, and I'm an idiot because I forgot what type of mine this is. Oh, everybody get ready to run, and I mean run.
Maury Gold straight murdered this episode with mood music. Even the jump scare music worked because of all the low bass tones that he kept using to remind your brain something is not right. And when it came, it nearly made me jump out of my chair. Well played, Murray. Boy, you couldn't have asked for a better cast. Everyone was fantastic. I wasn't familiar with anyone because I live in the US and Hulu hates the BBC, so I went in fresh with each of them. Everyone knocked it out of the park. Shya was incredible as this seemingly stoic unit leader that starts out completely practically minded. Hope is irrelevant. They're here to do a job, but by the end, she sacrifices herself in a desperate hope that her plan will work. Mo, in her small part, was likable and bonded with Belinda. Yes, Casio was an ass, but when you're cast as a dickhead and nobody is supposed to like you, you accomplished that goal. You did your job. And I really enjoyed hating him, so extra credit, buddy. But the star of the show was Alice. She was straight fantastic. I fully loved her as this distraught single mom working to support her young daughter while having no real knowledge of anything that's going on. Her being deaf immediately makes the audience see her as vulnerable, and slowly, as the audience is clued in that she either knows more or may not be what she seems, is great. I love the way she delivers lines so that they have strong emotion to them. I completely believed her portrayal. She doesn't understand what's happening, and even though she might be risking whatever it is that is behind her that's killing people, she needs to get back to her daughter. It's a stellar performance and elevates everyone in this episode. Like I've said in the past, when this little kid's sci-fi show gets elevated to an actual drama with real stakes, it becomes a show I love so much. As an aside, kudos should go to RTD for not only hiring people with disabilities, but also ignoring it and making it part of the story in a way that doesn't come off as, look how important we are for hiring these actors, but uses the casting to enhance these stories and uses them as an important aspect of the narrative. Good job, RTD. I love the ending. I know I give a lot of to Doctor Who for dispensing villains without lasting effect. And I like dark endings, generally, so I liked that they didn't easily kill the entity again, and that it can go on. I also have mixed feelings about the entity getting a possible reoccurrence. This episode accomplished a hell of a feat in making a pretty damn good sequel to Midnight without diminishing what happened in that episode while making it an equal but different kind of tension. So making a hat trick with a third fantastic episode is probably not likely, knowing the history of how this show runs its villains into the ground, but I liked the lasting effects here and that this threat is still out there. Things I didn't like. It's not much, so don't be worried if you like this episode. If my eye roll when this scene happened could talk, it would have said, "Fuck's sake, again?" Look, you know what is about to transpire in this episode, and having them do it again to the tune of Toxic by Britney Spears and then have the tone shift that this one has is really jarring. I'm not saying that it couldn't have worked if you were playing off the idea that the Doctor and Belinda haven't faced anything like this yet and learn a lesson from being cocky, but that doesn't happen, and they just dispatched a god together, so both the weighty threat of the Midnight entity and the tone whiplash gave me a bad taste in my mouth. Alice accidentally turning around, destroying all the nameless guards is a bit hilarious. Like, my brain immediately went to the Benny Hill theme when she was doing it. Things I didn't understand. How the f did they pick the exact same outfits as the military reconnaissance rescue group? I get that spacesuits are pretty similar, but I guess I was under the impression that they were going back to the other rooms of the TARDIS to get dressed, and this little vignette was a shortened version of that. So I thought they picked the outfit. But now you're making me think that the TARDIS is the one dressing them because they run through this door and come out of this one. Is that what's happening? because it isn't really mentioned by the human that was just dressed by a time machine that also has a perception filter where dressing the human and the Time Lord in period clothes isn't needed. Is going through these doors really just going through the perception filter? And if so, how long has that been a thing? And also, why am I so f***ing fixated on this? It's just weird you stepped out in the same suits as the military group. That's what I'm saying. What is the mission of this military outfit? Search and rescue? If so, how are you outfitted without a medical technician or doctor? Mo doesn't seem to know more than where the first aid kit is, and she just let Belinda do all the work, so my assumption is that they didn't bring a medic. So if you came without one, then this isn't likely a search and rescue, but more of a recon mission. But even then, you guys were searching for survivors, so I don't understand why you forgot the doctor or why there isn't someone questioning Belinda. So why can't Belinda use sign language? I like that the doctor can, and obviously he speaks a million different languages, even without the help of the TARDIS. But sign language is an official language accepted by most developed nations, and seems to be understood here even with the Earth being eliminated from memory, so I don't understand how Belinda isn't able to use it, considering the doctor just explained the TARDIS translation feature. I mean, Alice is surprised she doesn't know it, considering nurse law, so it should mean that Belinda should be able to sign. It isn't easy to nitpick an episode this good, but my brain can still pick up on things. Because of that, we still have
Nitpick Corner!
Look, I know everyone does it, but the impracticality of these lights inside of the helmets makes me crazy. This isn't really a nitpick of the episode and more about the full use of these things in pop culture. If you lit up a helmet like this for an astronaut, for a pilot, or anyone in the military, they aren't going to be able to see anything. You can't shine bright lights inside of every edge of your face and see anything. Not to mention the thing that you had to do because you filmed when it was cold and the lights are hot. I get that you want your actors' faces to be seen, but this shit annoys me because I have to have everything be real if you're presenting things as real. Everyone else seems to have accepted it, so I guess carry on, but I grumble at your impracticality. We've gotten so used to her. What will we do when she's gone? It's the fuck is Flood? I complained last time that her cameo felt tacked on and they needed to incorporate her more into the story to make her feel relevant, and they accomplished that this week. She shows up as the commander the survivor military group is reporting to. She asks about the doctor and if he's using the doohickey thing or not, and when confirmed, she's happy about it. And while it doesn't exactly answer a lot, still, this is the type of cameo that I hope we get for the rest of the season if they're going to be small. I gotta say, I was impressed here. I gave RTD some shit last time when I said I don't have faith in the rest of the episodes written by him this season. But this one has his name on it, even if I suspect it was written as a different villain and incorporated into being a sequel to Midnight. It doesn't really matter. This was a pretty fantastic episode. I don't think it's possible to match the energy and general loss of all hope of that episode, but this was an admirable job. I really hope the other writers that we're going to see in different episodes this season bring the same level of excellence as this one. I give The Well a 9. I had one or two things I nitpicked at, but this was a very worthy sequel to Midnight. 3 very worthy episodes to begin with. Things are starting to really look up for the rest. Hey, so don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. We're nearly halfway through the season, and my videos have at least been relevant. I'd love to be over 100 subscribers by the time this season is up. And as always, the needs of the salty outweigh the needs of the ham.